The energetics of thought before it becomes thought. Before a word arises, before even an idea takes form, there is something, not yet thought, not yet spoken, but undeniably present. A pulse, a pressure, a stirring in the field of awareness that has not yet crystallized into mind. The yogis called this the subtle seed of thought, the pre-thought, the energetic vibration that precedes cognition. Modern science has tried to measure it with brain scans and EEG machines, but ancient practitioners felt it directly, in stillness, in silence, in the space before thinking begins. And they discovered something remarkable. If you can become aware of thought before it becomes thought, you can step out of conditioning. You can interrupt karma at the root. You can choose clarity instead of compulsion. This is the art of pre-thought awareness, and it is one of the most powerful skills on the path of inner mastery. Section 1. What is pre-thought energy? Thought does not begin with language. It begins with energy. Every thought you've ever had began as a subtle impulse, a formless vibration arising in consciousness. This impulse has no name, no shape, no narrative. It is like the wind before it moves the leaves. In yogic terms, this is not yet manas, the lower mind. It is a vibration in chitta, the deeper field of consciousness that holds impressions. This pre-thought energy rises up from past conditioning, samskaras, moves through the breath and nervous system, seeks form through language and emotion, finally appears as a conscious thought. But if you are still enough, you can catch it before the wave crests. You can feel thought as energy, not content. And that changes everything. Section 2. How thought forms from energy. Imagine the mind like a still lake. A single ripple appears, then another, and soon waves form patterns, words, images, meaning. But the original ripple, that is the energetic root. In meditation, when you rest in silence, you may begin to sense a subtle tension before a thought arises, a pressure in the chest or brow, a movement behind the eyes, a sensation of about to think. This is the moment of becoming, and it is golden. Because if you can rest here without following the wave, you remain in the field of pure potential, where thought has not yet hardened. This is where sages dwell, not in silence forced, but in silence naturally prior to thought. They don't suppress the mind. They dissolve it before it forms. Section 3. Scientific parallels. Neuroscience has begun to glimpse this. In the 1980s, Benjamin Libet's experiments showed that brain activity, called a readiness potential, begins hundreds of milliseconds before we become consciously aware of a decision. In other words, your body begins to act before you believe you've chosen. This stunned the scientific world, but for yogis it was confirmation, because in deep meditation, practitioners report witnessing the pre-thought impulse, what the Yoga Sutras describe as vritti in its subtlest form. This is where free will is found, not in reacting to thought, but in witnessing its root. Section 4. Why this matters for liberation. If you want to change your life, you must go deeper than behavior. You must go deeper than emotion. You must go to the source of momentum. That source is the energetic stir before thought. If you can remain aware in this space, anger does not take form. Fear does not crystallize. Old stories do not replay. Identity does not tighten. Instead, you live in a space of pure awareness, where thoughts are free to rise and fall without owning you. This is real freedom, and it is not far away. It is only behind the next breath. Section 5. How to experience pre-thought energy. Here's a gentle practice. 1. Sit quietly. Let your body settle. 2. Notice your thoughts coming and going. 3. Now look for the moment before the thought. 4. Can you feel it, that slight urge, that flicker? 5. Don't suppress it. Just stay with the feeling. 6. When a thought arises, gently return to watching the next one form. Over time, you will begin to sense thought as a rising current, emotion as a vibration, not a command, identity as a wave, not a wall. You begin to rest prior to thinking, and here, there is only silence, clarity, and profound peace. This is thoughtless awareness, not dull, but radiant. Section 6. Interrupting karma before it begins. Every habit, every reaction, every emotional spiral begins with a pre-thought. That's where karma begins, and that's where it can end. The moment you recognize the energetic stir, you can pause. And in that pause, you are not the old you. You are not the reaction. You are free. You collapse the pattern before it forms. You don't fight the storm. You rest in the stillness before the clouds. This is the power of pre-thought awareness. Final reflection. The next time you sit in silence, listen not for words, but for the space before words. Feel not your thoughts, but the tremble before thought. In that space, you will discover a new kind of seeing, without language, without reaction, only pure presence, alive and alert. This is where the sages live, not above the world, but before it begins.